Hello, boys, hello, girls, and fellow wrestling marks. You are now watching if you're on YouTube and listening if you're on Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, and various podcast distributors, RSS feed places to the Glorified House Show. Again, this is a very, 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 very new show. It's me talking about different aspects and issues that are happening in wrestling, and then some reviews. My last, which was my first show, was over a couple of topics. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. It's episode 1 of the Glorified House Show. And I gave a prediction to not only the Royal Rumble, but NXT Takeover. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit. And again, the format of this show is short. I mean, the other one I had to stuff a lot of shit in the first episode. So it ran for like an hour. It was like some odd 5, things. And I felt like the first topics needed some attention. But I'm not going to do any more openers moving forward. I'm just going to go jump right into it. So this is just, again, being that this is the second time I'm doing this, I just want to sort of lay out the format. Again, these are shorter podcasts, shorter vlogs, talk about a topic, and then some reviews if it's necessary, and some commentary too, which I'm going to start with this. It's about the approach to wrestling and why it's important to just sort of keep to like old school standards. A lot of the WWE today, it moves everything forward. It moves the narrative forward. And it's not like wrestling needs to sit in this one way, but it has certain elements that if you stick to these things, that you're going to get yourself, a easier flow, right? So what's happening in WWE is that they got all these writers and all of these people who come from shows, they have a writing in sitcoms and dramas and stuff, and they're getting paid to, in fact, make all of these wrestlers like these multifaceted, like multi-dimensional characters, right? And that's all well and good. I think that's very healthy, especially for like someone who's, looking for other types of entertainment. They don't, and not necessarily be wrestling fans. I'm not like a wrestling fan that needs to guard the gate against like people who are casuals, or people who came over from other departments of entertainment, say Total Divas or something shit like that, right? Or they watch Glow and they started watching wrestling and things of that nature, I think wrestling's great, wrestling's fun, and if you casually watching it, it's fine. It's fine. Not all of us have to be like, a bunch of marks. A lot of us, want to be casual fans. But the point I'm making is this. I didn't watch New Japan New Beginnings, but I caught online, this thing that happened within the Bullet Club, right? And there's been animosity with the Bullet Club, mainly Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes. And I think there's been this power struggle with what's going on, who's the head of the Bullet Club. Cody just come in, and he's kind of the elder. He's the elder statesman, right? He's new to the indie, quote unquote, indie scene. New Japan isn't an indie, but you get what I'm saying. Like, he's in ROH, he's also in New Japan, and I don't think, but he feels that he deserves top seating for the New Japan and for the Bullet Club. And right now, since Finn Balor or Prince Devitt has left or AJ Styles has left, it's been pretty much Omega at the helm of the Bullet Club. And there's definitely been tension with that. Cody wanting top billing as the elder statesman, but and legacy to run the Bullet Club. And if you watch the Be Elite videos, you can see that tension. Like it's like you can cut it with a knife. Well, anyway, in New Beginnings, Kenny Omega just lost the belt to Jay White. They're putting a lot of eggs into Jay White. New Japan is Switchblade. There's a lot of people who don't really get into this character, and I'm like, give it a chance. New Japan has a good rep on developing new stars, people who didn't necessarily get a chance in other promotions. They bring them over, get them over, put them in the dojo, they make them into stars. Why the Jay White character is catching on so slowly is beyond me. Maybe there's way more development that's needed. He's still super young, but nevertheless, people are shitting all over him. People are shitting all over the fact that he took that U.S. belt from Kenny Omega. And all I'm thinking is, all right, build this guy up from the ground up. It's fine that he has this belt, and just maybe, possibly, they got bigger, better plans outside that belt for Kenny Omega, i.e., this Bullet Club situation and this, reuniting. This is what I'm getting to Kota Ibushi, but I'll get to that soon. What these guys are doing over in New Japan is something special. I mean, everything that they do, and it's very bare bone. It's not like over elaborate. It's not like multifaceted, multidimensional. It is not necessarily old school. This dude Geto, who's basically the booker for New Japan, he has his thumb on something to bring out like the drama, like real drama, real fucking drama that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it has nothing to do with any kind of stupid storyline. I mean, if you just look at this scenario with the Bullet Club, it's what it is. It's a simple storyline of a newcomer who is of higher stature in age and in experience in the wrestling industry, and having a lineage into this group of collective kind of rebels, right? And there's a power struggle with the guy at top and the guy that wants at that top. Like, it's a simple, they built the drama between the two, unlike what they're doing over at the WWE with Daniel Bryan and Shane O'Mac. Like, there's absolutely, they leaving everything to question. They're leaving everything to question. Question here, question there. It doesn't make any sense. There's animosity, but like, it's so passive aggressive, right? It's so fucking passive aggressive that it's hard to follow. You don't know who the fucking good guy is. You know who the bad guy is. You don't really know why someone's upset. You just know people are upset. And someone's strong-arming the next, but in such a passive-aggressive manner that you don't even, you don't know whether to be upset or happy, right? In this situation, it's cut and dry. This guy's on top. This guy wants to be on top. And then, like, fill in the blank in between. In the relationship, not only between the two people who want to be on top, deal with also with Kenny Omega and struggling with this idea that this guy has the potential to take his spot, right? He's been losing big matches to Okada, and everyone's questioning his leadership. And at the same time, you got Cody Rhodes, who is coming in and winning championships and basically moving himself into more of an influential figure within the Bullet Club, right? It's simple. It's simple. You don't need a fucking person who wrote for Game of Thrones to just write something so simple. So, right, So what happens is he pushes one of the fucking one of the young bucks down, right? And then that because they're mad because he's lost, right? And Hangman, what the fuck is his name? Hangman steps up to Jay White to let him know that he's next in line for that U.S. belt. But then Omega steps in, Hangman Page, he steps in between them, gives the belt back to Jay White and tells him to like back off. That's his time. So all the Bucks and fucking Cody and all these people show up, to sort of get at Omega for stepping in front of Hangman Page for his time. This is not rocket science. This always happens in the New Japan. If someone gets defeated, someone walks up and states their claim to be next in line, and he's like, "Fuck that! You're not gonna fucking get in the way of this guy's victory. You're not gonna make this about you." When inadvertently he made it about himself, right? He has some internal struggles going on right here, and he's upset, and he's thinking he's being a leader by telling Paige to back up. As the leader of the Bullet Club, he's not the father of these. He's not fathering any kids. So there's this turmoil. They all come out, and then like he shoves one of the Bucks down, and then everyone's like, "What the fuck, man?" And when they all clear the ring, Cody Rhodes is the last to help him out of the ring. He parts the ropes, and he hits him with a crossroads. Hits him with a vicious crossroads. And Hangman Page comes in, and fucking the villain, Marty Scurll, is like freaking out, like, "What are you doing?" But Hangman Page's like, "Yeah, fuck this guy." Cody Rhodes is about to mash him with a chair, right? So shit's gone down in the Bullet Club, and this is it's a compelling story. It's a really compelling story, but this isn't an isolated incident. As they're about to fucking lay the fucking wood to Omega, out comes Kota Ibushi, who just had a match with Cody Rhodes at the last Wrestle Kingdom, right? There's this one video of the Elite where they're like eating out, and Omega gets at Cody Rhodes about booking a match. He doesn't say the person's name, but he's talking about Kota Ibushi. He goes, "I asked you not to book a match with him to outdo me. Why did you have to do it?" And it's like this argument. So Ibushi comes out for the save. Place goes crazy. I mean, goes insane. And he does the run in, and he clears out the ring, right? Fucking, all right. Apparently, they have a history down in I don't know if it was, I think it's called DDT. DDT, I'm not sure what the initial stands for, but it's like outlandish fucking, like, fantasy wrestling, I think both of them, have wrestled broomsticks and blow-up dolls and children at one point, down there. And they were like tag team. I think they came to New Japan together as a tag team. And, since went their separate ways for their solo runs, right? But he runs in for the save, and there's this moment between the two where Kota is there. He's like, "I'm here for you. Give me a hand. I'll help you up." Omega doesn't take his hand, and it's like this. It's like they done moved from one situation to the next, and I think what's happening with Omega is that he's kind of reeling, he's reeling, and he's not only has he lost his belt, he's also felt that he's lost his team, and he's ashamed. He's ashamed that some guy had to come save him. So he's like, he doesn't say a single word. Not a single word is said during this whole fucking exchange. Not a single word. And he's able to get himself up, and Kota Ibushi has his hand out, and he just wants to acknowledge him. Like, he's just like, I'm here for you, I'm your boy, I got your back. And Omega is being proud, and he's being stubborn, and it's really a clusterfuck of everything that's gone on in his life since Cody has showed up, and the animosity and the stubbornness, and and he's transitioning it over to Kota Ibushi, a guy who came in to save his ass. Omega is rock bottom right now. That's how he sees himself. He's rock bottom. He's damaged goods. He's a damaged soul right now. And you got this guy who used to be his right-hand man reaching out to let him know that he's his boy, and he's refusing it. And the tension and the crowd is just waiting for something to happen. And he's just like, he just refuses to take the guy's hand. So Kota Ibushi walks off. And then you think he's about to leave the ring, but he just can't leave without letting him know. He turns around and he just forces a hug on Omega, and they embrace. It's like a love story, right? A fucking love story. It was beautiful. I kind of got emotional watching it, right? I hate that I missed the show. I need to go back and just watch New Beginnings all together. It just made sense. I'm sitting back going, here's a power struggle, here's a love story. All this happened within 8 fucking minutes, and I was so goddamn compelled. I was so compelled. And just though that 8 minutes of just happenings and the crescendo and to the finish, they even had confetti come up, after they embraced. And it's just like, how the fuck are they able to do that? Like, what is the magic potion that these guys are able to pull this off all the fucking time? As of late, the New Japan product has become in vogue, and for good fucking reason, right? And I think Jeff Jarrett, again, I hate Jeff Jarrett, but the greatest thing he ever did was bring Wrestle Kingdom 9 to the States. He's responsible for that. Global Force Wrestling was responsible for bringing Wrestle Kingdom to America. Thank you so much, Jeff Jarrett, for that. And since then, and you go in and out of, say, the pay-per-views and the bigger shows and the news and all that shit like that, they picked up so many new followers. And New Japan has not disappointed. And if they haven't disappointed in the in-ring action, they've not disappointed in the grooming of their acts and their workers and their storylines. And they also have fucking just nailed they just nailed it. So you mean to tell me the WWE has all this money, have all this talent, have all this, backroom writers, producers, cameras. They have all these cities they can go to, all these arenas they can fill up. They have all these things, right? And the one thing they cannot do right is make compelling television. They can't. They've lost it. They've absolutely lost it. And from the last time that I spoke to you guys, one of the things that I wanted to address is from the Raw 25 show, and the fact that fucking they're not in the business of making shows anymore. Again, this is not a rant. Maybe I sound a little worked up, but it's just been sitting on my mind. But they're not in the business of making shows anymore. They're in the business of making moments, right? You can have all the in-ring and all the fantasy booking you want, but if they can't bring point A to point B, if they can't take point A to point B, right? And like that line in between there, if they can't fill that in for point A to point B to meet and make sense, then none of it fucking matters. Unless it's like, an outlier like Daniel Bryan, unless it's like fucking AJ Styles, right? If there's one of these guys that can just create this compelling compelling in-ring product, you know? And they get to that point scratching and clawing. This storyline with AJ Styles right now, with the fucking, with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens is rough. I tell you, it's rough, right? Because like, you cannot tell me that you've enjoyed this storyline on top of the bullshit power struggle, passive aggressive power struggle of Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, right? This guy is your fucking world champion, AJ Styles. He's the hottest worker on that brand. Hell, he's the hottest worker in the whole WWE. You know, next to Okada, right now in terms of like the hottest, and Omega, the hottest product in the world is AJ Styles. And for some reason, Jinder Mahal got better treatment. He didn't lose a single match until it was time to lose the match. AJ Styles, since he's gotten the belt, has 3 losses. And he's thrown in this crappy storyline that is just so hard to follow. It's not compelling whatsoever. And in the end, it's not even going to be about him. It's going to be about the relationship between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Like, that's how they're treating this. And over here in New Japan, they're able to just take 8 fucking minutes. They've gotten from point A to point B in this compelling storyline that came to a fucking crescendo, and not a single word was said in damn near the most important part of it all. And that's the reunion of Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega. It blows my mind that the WWE is so headstrong on trying to be this legitimate programming that they've thrown everything out the window to like to appease, to feel part of like the entertainment industry right now. I be forgetting wrestlers' names and shit because ain't no storyline compelling enough to make me even care. And you got these guys over here killing it. How are they able to do that? I tell you how. Because they don't overcomplicate things. Emotion, relatable, make it relatable, have emotion, and just keep it simple. Keep it really simple. We don't need complexities to justify, legitimize the wrestling craft. We just want entertainment. We want to relate. We want a villain. We want a good guy. We want drama, and we want a payoff. That's all we need. We don't need complicated. We don't need things so goddamn complicated over in the WWE. And it makes me upset to see things like this over in the New Japan. You know, when that's not even like my number one wrestling option. It's not my number one wrestling option. It's WWE. They should be. I should be fucking. It's just upsetting. I just thought I'd have that conversation about why the WWE, as of late, for me at least, it's just not a point at watching anymore. Of course, I'm gonna watch the Royal Rumble live. Of course, I'm gonna watch that live, you know. And I've watched the last 2 Monday Night Raws live because, you know, it was the 25th anniversary. I wanted to watch that just to see what the fuck would happen. And I think last Monday is just because I just happened to be in the house and I was just like, all right, whatever. But other than that, man, like, it's not appointment television anymore. And I'll probably watch the Fallout tomorrow because I'm just going to be in the house. But like, maybe, you know, maybe I'm going to work on something and watch it in my spare time and see what the Fallout is. Stay offline so I don't get any spoilers to what the fuck's going on. But Jesus Christ, guys, they need to get that shit together, man. It's not fair. It's not fair to us wrestling fans to get quality from our second options, to get the better quality everything, whether it's in-ring, whether it's storyline, from like a second option, right? That's like saying I'm going to watch fucking Canadian football and enjoy it more than the NFL. That's insane. Arena football. You know what I'm saying? That's like I'm going to watch Lithuania basketball rather than the fucking NBA. It's insane. You shouldn't have the fucking G League outshining the fucking NBA. You know? All right. So it's 25 minutes in. All right. I'm going to try to get this done in 10 minutes. And this is my review of NXT Philadelphia. And what a show. And this is another thing, like, this was poorly built. This was a poorly built show, and you didn't have a lot of people take part in this. A lot of people, the fact that Lars Sullivan was not on this show it amazes me. But match for match, outside of the poor build, it ended up being a really excellent show. Philadelphia was red fucking hot for this show. And it was so fun to watch. Just for the crowd. They weren't annoying. They were just on fire for everything. There was only one low point in this show, and I'll get to that in a second. But for the most part, if I was to give, not the star shit, but if I was to give this show a rating of 10, it was a strong 8.5. Very strong 8.5. So let's go down what happened. So you had, in my predictions, I think I was half and half. You had the Undisputed Truth, I keep doing that, Undisputed Era versus, which is, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish versus the Authors of Pain. I had Kyle O'Reilly, I had the Undisputed Truth winning this because it's time for Akam and Razor to go to the main roster. There's no reason for them to hold those belts again. They've been down there for 3 years. I think it's been about three or 2 years, kicking ass, taking names. They lost this, and it's just time to move on. It's time to just bring in a new, they got War Machine coming in. So there's no need to keep them around. So I got that prediction right, and it was a really solid match. Really solid match. I like watching. I was a big fan of Red Dragon in ROH. They've tweaked them a bit. But they still have a long way to go. They have a long way to go. All I can do, and it sucks, and I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm looking past them as a tag team, and I'm looking at a possible run, babyface run for Kyle O'Reilly. That's what I'm, when he gets to the main roster, if it can possibly be a babyface run for this guy. And I'll be interested to see how it will play out. Velveteen Dream defeats Cassius Ohno. Again, that's another match that I got right. Velveteen Dream, and it was a great match. I don't know what the fuck is up with Cassius Ohno. He's a good in-ring hand, but man, I'm not gonna weight shame this guy. I'm not at all. I'm just saying that if you're in this facility, right, you got all this stuff, and I don't know if it's something that's in his genetics, but I've seen him. He used to be thin. I just think in this industry, sadly enough, it is a image first, like it's a vain sport, like vanity. Like you got to look a certain way. You look at the Velveteen Dream. This guy looks like $1 million. Now, the fat guy in wrestling is there's always going to be space for him. That, for me at least, I grew up always looking at the fat guy, who was the heel, right? The fat guy heel who was out of shape. He could wrestle, but he was a bastard. He was low blowing and cheating and grabbing the ropes, and just doing underhanded shit, right? But Cassius Ohno is presenting himself as a baby face, as this baby face guy who's like a really good technical wrestler, and he's cool, he's hip, he loves Wu-Tang, he likes rap, and he has a cool forearm that he gives to people. And I think when you try to play that role, the last thing you need to be is looking like that. Like, there's a lot of money on the table that he's passing up by not improving his look. He's wearing this gaudy stuff. I mean, like, I hate his ring attire. And it's just cloaking all of his imperfections. When in fact, he should flip it around and be a dirty fuck. A dirty, cheating bastard. That's what he should do. That's what his body type is. In the world, this crazy world of professional wrestling. And the fact that he's trying to be this lovable babyface to do things the right way, it just doesn't, when I see him and I see that, it just doesn't add up to me. If he wanted to be a heel, he would make a lot of money. But in his shape and what he's doing now, I won't be surprised they let his ass go again, because he's definitely hit his ceiling as nothing more as a jobber to the stars right now, to the up and coming stars, and it's on him to make that change. It's on him to make that change. He's been given a second chance, and maybe he's made some changes, but it's not working out to mean worth a damn. Meanwhile, the Velveteen Dream, get that motherfucker to the main roster right now. You put him on Monday Night Raw, and it's a wrap. And, maybe start him off with a program with Goldust. I think that would be great to have them sort of feud. Not even I hate fantasy booking, but I could see Goldust being like, you have a lot of promise, kid. And Velveteen's like, fuck you, old man. And then boom, we got the old with the new. Old with the new. And he keeps trying to give him advice until one day Velveteen Dream just snaps on him and beats his ass. And then you got yourself a pretty decent Extreme Rules match, right? Just something, not necessarily like WrestleMania or SummerSlam, but something in between, like Battleground or something. TLC or something. Just a nice little feud for that, and then he just goes off and strives to become the Intercontinental Champion until he becomes the top heel to, either the Universal title or the WWE heavyweight title. The guy's my favorite. The way he sells, the way he performs, everything about this guy is gold. And I was such a skeptic such a skeptical guy to his gimmick at first. Oh, all right, let's move along. Okay, the low point of the night for me is Ember Moon beating Shayna Baszler. I got that wrong. Ember Moon's not working for me. Shayna Baszler is a bigger star. She's a better star. She's better at everything. In this situation, it looks like Shayna was going to pull it off, and I'm just like, all right, man. That's kudos for the NXT for doing the right thing and taking that belt off of that anime wannabe, and just watching the match. She just can't do it. It just doesn't do it for me anymore. And I think Shayna Baszler is just money. She's just money, just being a bully, just being a bully. And you got Ember Moon trying to be goddamn fucking Goku or some shit. That shit just annoys the fuck out of me. And she went blue eyes this time. Fuck out of here with that shit, man. But Shayna loses. I hope somehow, some way, cause she beat the shit out of her after the match, which is all well and good. But I wonder I'm more curious about what Shayna's about to do than I could ever give a fuck about what Ember Moon's about to do. Then you had the two remaining matches were great, man. I mean, I had a fun time watching Aleister Black I got that wrong too. Aleister Black defeats Adam Cole. I thought it was going to be a rubber match moving forward with this. Because Aleister Black beat Adam Cole in for the number one contenders tournament. And I thought they would give Adam Cole this victory to sort of rev up something down the road if it's just for something like, a big money match on just on NXT regular, streaming television. But they gave it to Aleister Black, and it was a long match. There was blood. I mean, it was vicious. It was technical. It was everything. It was compelling as all as hell. It was a very, very compelling match. I mean, I ain't gonna go into detail, but like they were fucking each other up for that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There was one part though, where Aleister Black set up some tables outside, right? He set up some tables outside, and he went and got one, and then he went and got another. And I'm thinking, wow, like I wonder what spot this is gonna be, right? So there's a part where he gets up on the top buckle on the side of where the tables are. I done forgot all about the fucking tables. And there's a scene where he throws, I think, I may get it wrong, but I think he threw, Adam Cole threw a chair at him as he's standing up there, and he super kicked him. He super kicked him with him holding that chair, and it hit him in the face, right? And he just trust falls. Just complete trust fall onto the two tables. It cut him too. They were both bleeding. But that shit was amazing. For him to trust fall that like it won't nothing. I mean, he came down from fucking the top fucking buckle. He fell, it was amazing. It was the perfect trust fall into those tables that you'll ever see. And it landed perfectly, And he cut, wood breaks, it cuts. But like, kudos to him. And then kudos to Adam Cole for taking one spot where he's about to set up the tables, set up the chairs. You know how sometimes they set up the chairs from seat to seat to where they'll drop them on the seat, the two seats or what have you? Adam Cole set it up like that, had a change of heart, and turned the fucking turned the chairs to where the backs are the middle. So basically, if he's about to drop him on that fucker, he's gonna get like basically a spike right in the back. And Aleister Black turned that fucker around and fucking fisherman carry his ass on his back in between those two fucking chairs. Back to back. I mean, it looked brutal. It looked so brutal. It ended with a kick, black mass kick, and Aleister Black came out with the victory. It was a vicious match. It was fun. It was any and everything you wanted out of an Extreme Rules match. I think it would have been really fun if they would have left the ring at some point. And it was like hooks and whistles. The Undisputed Era showed up, and then what are they called? They're called, God almighty, I hate when I forget. Well, anyway, Eric Young and Wolf, Alexander Wolf, the return of Alexander Wolf showed up. What the fuck are they called? I don't know. Whatever. I forgot the name of their group. But anyway, Alexander Wolf, Killian Dane, and Young, they all came in to sort of help Black. And there was one big old dive from Killian Dane that looked pretty awesome. But yeah, Alexander, anyway, Black wins, and it was a great match. Sorry, I mean, I'm trying to rush through this shit. And the championship match, Cien Almas versus Johnny Wrestling, and it was fun. That was a long match. It was a fun match. It left nothing to the imagination. Well, sorry, it left everything to the imagination. And I got Aleister Black. I got that wrong. I had Adam Cole winning, so again, that's another wrong one. But yeah, this match I got right, but it wasn't what I thought was going to be. It was a very extremely long match. It left everything to the imagination, and lots of kickouts, lots of high spots. It's what it was. Very technical based. I mean, like the first filling out couple of minutes were nice. I mean, they were awesome. And then the shit started to pour on, and Almas is amazing. Almas is amazing. Like that guy, I really hope when he goes to the main roster, they give him the Del Rio spot. I hope they give him the Del Rio spot. I think he'll probably do better, especially with that valet, Zelina Vega. Like, those two can go on the main roster and basically fill in where Alberto Del Rio left off. He doesn't have to be basically like a rich aristocrat or anything like that. I mean, and I'm not trying to sound like, oh yeah, replace one Mexican with another. What I'm saying is the Mexican wrestler is a facet to any wrestling promotion. And not only is he a striker, the guy's also super technical. Like he has all the goods, and he's great looking. I think he would humble beginnings, but he's caught on. He's a great champion. They're treating him right. They're keeping him off TV and giving him wins. And again, the storyline was Johnny Gargano's fucking rise, since the breakup with his tag team partner, Tommaso Ciampa in DIY. And, him losing matches and then getting this momentum up to the point where he's facing Almas at Takeover Philly for the belt, right? He ended up losing just spot after spot. It was great. Vega gets involved. Johnny Gargano's wife, Candice LeRae, jumps in and beats up and chases Vega out. It was something. It was cool, man. I wish Almas would have healed it up a little bit more in front of the family, and then I wish he would have walked over or something, and just like put his face in front of his families, and like beat him or get some raw reaction from the family. But that never happened. I was hoping that was going to happen. But Candice LeRae, I was just like, that's illegal. She can't just jump the rails. Like, she's a fan now. She's like, okay, she signed a contract, but she's still a fan. Like, what the fuck? Why is no one talking about how she should stay in the stands and not let her emotions get the best of her? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was bullshit. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that whatsoever, right? The fact that no commentary was losing their shit about how fucked that was for her to jump that barrier as a fan, right? So Almas wins with a vicious knee punch to the railing outside on the apron. It was brutal. It looked brutal. And he threw his ass out top rope and gave him a fucking DDT off the top buckle. And 1, 2, 3. He was dazed. And it was a great victory. Man, oh man. You want to see some pissed off people? The entire Philadelphia was pissed. I mean, they were so mad. The air got sucked out of that room like you wouldn't believe. You would have choked of no oxygen. No oxygen wasn't allowed in that room when that third hand came down for the 3 count. They got the fuck out of there, man. Vega, Almas got the fuck out of there. He was able to retain his championship. Man, I mean, you're talking about this guy, Johnny Gargano, is so loved in Philly. He's so loved in Philly. And you found that out that night, last night. It was incredible to watch. It was incredible to watch that fucking place just go from fucking, yeah, come on, Johnny wrestling, to like, fuck you, Almas, and like just dead silence. Just feeling this dude's pain. Anyway, he walks up the ramp. he wants to, say thank you to the crowd, and out comes Ciampa. Now, I thought Ciampa was going to cost him the match. That didn't happen. But I was like, wait for it. And then they showed the fucking, copyright at the bottom. And I was like, I'm still not buying it. And next thing you know, you hear the crowd. They had this camera fixated on Gargano and LaRue, Candice LeRae, because, she accompanied him on the ramp. Maybe they're going to do the whole ballet thing with them, too. But next thing you know, you just see fucking Ciampa fucking just take a crutch to the back of Gargano's, take it to Gargano's back, a crutch. Bends that crutch in half. Gargano's laid out. And, you just see Ciampa standing over him. He still looks like he has a long way to go with his MCL, tear, what have you. I think he had surgery on it. And he just kind of walks off and just leaves him laying. And that's how the show went off. They re-showed the fucking copyright thing at the bottom. And a show like this, it was very short, very sweet. I would say a little too much wrestling, which is a silly thing to say, but you know what I'm saying. They could have saved more for the main event. The main event, exhausted the living shit out of you. But all the matches were exhausting. I wish they would have probably just laid up just a touch to where when I got to the main event, I could keep more attention on it. But nevertheless, that's NXT. That's what NXT does. It's still compelling stuff. I still think the match of the night was. I think the performer of the night was Velveteen Dream all day. The match of the night was Aleister Black versus Adam Cole. That outside, the bells and whistles of Sanity, that's what they're called, Sanity, and the Undisputed Era interfering, it still ended up being like a fucking, they're gonna when they matches of the year, it'll be in the top 10. I like to think that it'll be in the top 10. And that's it. Tonight is the Royal Rumble. Hopefully I can get this up in the next hour or so, because I got to go get my wings on, and then come back and watch the Royal Rumble. But yeah, again, I have the Big Show winning. Don't let me down, Big Show. Do not let me down. I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, and they're going to do something with Big Show. And he's going to go after AJ Styles. Other than that, man, thank you so much for listening to episode 2 of the Glorified House Show. You can find me online at LN Japanese, one word, LN Japanese, LINJAPANESC, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Snapchat. So until the next one will be hopefully tomorrow. Again, these will be shorter, whatever. I got 48 minutes, but I'm about to be out making 50 even. But add me, subscribe. Again, I'm back, and watch out for those foreign objects.